Hey guys, how's it going? Drylac here, coming at you with another video. This time I'm going to be updating you on my Armageddon brand Elementalist, the actual update, not a currency making guide or anything like that this time. Um, we have made a little bit of progress, changed a few things, and we'll go over those in just a minute. I did want to show you though a quick little demonstration and a map. I do already have a map rolled and everything here, so we're just going to pop that in and go ahead and go at it. Talk about some of the strengths and weaknesses right now. So strengths wise, we are very tanky. That is the big number one. I can come in, clear out a tier 16 map, no issues, and even the influenced packs, when they spawn, even the rare ones, I can take hits from them, and yeah, doesn't even really phase me. So obviously, they can get through my energy shield. I don't have a whole lot of that, but that gets replenished pretty quickly because we do have a crap ton of armor. Damage-wise, we are still a bit slow, as you can tell. Um, that is one thing that I'm trying to work on and fix. I've got a few adjustments and tweaks that I need to make still, but obviously I don't get one shot by anything. Haven't been killed in quite a while. The few deaths that I do have on this character are from distractions and stuff like that. And with 3 kids in life, it just things get a little hectic sometimes. So I do have a few deaths because of distractions, but as far as being able to be one shot, obviously everything is like a gradual damage that's really well smoothed out by the Aegis Aurora and everything like that. Um, Now, obviously, boss killing is not a strong suit of this character right now. Now, this boss is possessed as well. Um, but yeah, damage is a little bit slow. I have a few things in mind, as I was saying, to fix that. And I do believe that I can make this a very solid build. Um, but again, this is coming from a league start scenario type situation. Everything that this character has, it earned itself. Um, so yeah, we will definitely get there. There's still a lot of tweaking and progress to be made. I'm not going to clear this map. I think you guys get the point at this point in the video. Um, Anyways, so where we currently stand with this character. Uh, I've made a few little adjustments as far as gem setup and all that goes. We will go over that very briefly here. Um, I have narrowed it down as of right now to where I am using Determination, Defiance Banner, Tempest Shield, Purity of Ice, Clarity, and I have finally squeezed in Herald of Ash as well. That has helped with the damage some, but we do still have some work to do there. But there, as you will see in a minute, there's a lot of room for improvement with this character and its gear, cluster fuel setups, all that kind of stuff. Uh, there's still some things that I can tweak there, and the overall build as well. Um, but yeah, so we are still using the same one that I've had since basically day one of my videos on this character. This is something that I picked up for like, I think I paid like 30 chaos for it or something like that. I don't remember. I'd have to go back and check that other video. I think I mentioned it in there. But yeah, so very crappy wand. I am using Flame Golem, Stone Golem, which I did get a 2120 to drop from my blighted maps that I've been doing. So that was rather fortunate. And then I have Chaos Golem. Then up here I've got my Defiance Banner, Lightning Golem, Herald of Ash, and Molten Shell. I am using a self-cast Molten Shell on my left click uh, rather than a cast when damage taken setup. So that is my preference. Shield gives me way more than enough protection along with everything else that I've got built into this character. So yeah, I am still using shield charge, faster attacks, and inspiration, and that is one small change that I've made. I accidentally leveled this up. Need to take it back down to level 1. This is meant to solely proc inspiration rapidly as I'm moving through a map and keeping up. So that does need to be back down to level 1. Um, my rings, still using Tempest Shield and Flammability in my rings. Same amulet that I've had since the first video. Again, just for some stats, basically, and a little bit of lightning resistance, which is something that I did need. At this point, I could start tuning some of my resistances back. I've still got a lot of tweaks to do with this character. And then, of course, I've got Purity, Clarity, and Determination linked with Enlighten, level 3. Um, and I have switched to Gang's Momentum Legion boots. This just gives me a little bit of extra damage against ignited enemies, which with Elementalist you do ignite regularly, so that is helping a little bit. But there are a few other things that I can do other than set of boots to increase the damage a bit more significantly. But I am running, in the boots, I'm running a 4-link Flame Wall with Inspiration, Burning Damage, and Arcane Surge. So as I'm trying to kill bosses, the Arcane Surge does help a little bit with the damage as well. Obviously, we're still lacking a little bit in that area, but we're going to work on that. And then we have Armageddon brand. I did finally get it 6-linked, so I'm running that with Swift brand, Faster Casting, Fire Pen, Controlled Destruction, and Inspiration as well. And I did switch to a Brass Dome for the extra maximum elemental resistances. With all that, there's a few things that I can do with my flasks to tweak there. I no longer need the extra elemental resistances here on my uh, amethyst flask, so I can get rid of that. But as you can see, we're sitting at almost 70,000 armor now, 90% all res, and I can actually get rid of some of this on the maximum resistances on the brass dome as well. I think I only needed like 2% to get to 90, and I have 5% on this. So there's a few changes I can make there. And then, yeah, we're block capped and spell capped. And we have chill, freeze, and shock avoidance. The chill and freeze comes from my flask here, the topaz flask. And then, yeah, so let me go over some of the changes we made in tree. Now, I am Elementalist. I am still running the same setup that I was in my first video on this character. The extra golem buffs is really nice, so I do have those still. And of course, Shaper Flames, this is what I was talking about with, you know, always igniting, so the extra 38% damage on my boots comes into play with that. And then, yeah, so we did end up dropping a few points over here. We took out the life nodes over here, and we did still keep this for the aura reservation effects and the shield block with the spell damage nodes here. We do still have the corrupted blood immunity right here. That is why we came down this way. And I actually it actually does come out to be the same amount of points. Never mind. I was thinking I could swap some of this over to here, save a few points, but no, it actually comes out to be the same amount. So never mind that. So one other little thing that I did change right up here is I now have Unnatural Instinct. It gives me a whole bunch of extra stats and stuff. Some increased spell damage, some more mana. Makes it a little bit easier to still have enough mana to cast my spells pretty regularly. And then, of course, some Herald buff effect. And then I've got the 12% of damage taken recoup his life. So if I do get chewed through my energy shield, and I forgot to D&D myself, but if I do get chewed through my energy shield, you know, this will help as well in keeping me alive. So I did take 3 points out here. I was using these originally, but I wanted to get my cluster jewel setup going, which we'll go over in just a second. So yeah, I took those 3 points, and then I did also have the armor and energy shield points here. So that was another 4 points that I took out here. Um, as I continue to level up, may end up going back down that route, but I'm pretty tanky, so those points will most likely actually go up here. Um, but yeah, so the cluster jewel setup that I went with, I ended up rolling these myself. I bought this cluster jewel for about 10 chaos, and then I bought myself a bunch of prismatic and scorched fossils, and used those to roll this one. Now, it is pretty common with that setup to hit three notables on your cluster jewel. Maybe not necessarily these specific three, but this is what I ended up going with. But in the process of rolling this actually took me about 15 tries to hit this specific setup. And initially, I thought it was going to be a good idea to have the cremator. Uh, I've kind of since decided against that. So I do need to continue rolling this a little bit more. But in the 15 tries that it took me to hit this, which is pretty fortunate, because this is the exact setup that I was looking for at the time. In that 15 tries, I think I hit three notable cluster jewels. Um, each of those would have sold for about an exalt, according to um, the Awakened PoE trade. So if they did sell for that, you could have just stopped at those, sold them if you were looking for a very specific setup. There's a few different combinations that I think would work with this, uh, but this is what I ended up going with for the time being. So Cremator, it just gives ignited enemies killed by your hits are destroyed. Originally, I went with that because I believed that it would help with things like porcupines and stuff like that. But at this point, I'm so tanky, porcupines are a non-issue. So yeah, kind of overkill on that. Don't really need it. Uh, then of course, prismatic heart for the extra elemental resistances, which I didn't really need, or at this point don't really need. And then widespread destruction was the main one that I was going for, because of the fact that it does give me a little bit extra area of effect on the Armageddon brand. Um, so then I've moved uh, my melting of the flesh up here. It was over here originally, but I wanted the benefits of unnatural instinct here. And then, yeah, my small cluster jewels. These I literally just re-rolled with the etheric fossils. And so this one is a little low item level. This is actually what inspired me to go with a brand build for my whole How to Build series, because of the fact that uh, this one dropped for me early on, gives me increased brand damage, and then with the etheric fossils, I was able to roll brand loyalty on it. That is extremely common on these with the brand damage. And that just gives me enemies take 3% increased damage for each of your brands attached to them. So yeah, I do have that on both of these medium clusters, and then this other one was a little higher item level, so I was also able to pick up Holy Conquest with that for some more brand damage. And then I do have a small little Hypnotic Eye Jewel. This doesn't do a whole lot for me other than give me a little more survivability and small amount of extra damage on my brand. So, that being the case, this is where the character stands right now. Um, and I will have the path building linked at the bottom of this video, or in the description of this video, just in case you do want to follow along and see the exact numbers of what everything puts me at right now. Um, but yeah, so I'll have that in the bottom of the video, and in a future video, I've already been spending currency like crazy. I think last video I was at like 30 some odd exalts in raw currency plus some extra, and I've been farming more, and between rebuying maps and buying stuff for future video projects, I kind of go up and down a lot, but I'm still sustaining all my maps. with my currency, as well as being able to buy these other things for my other projects. My upcoming video that I am currently accumulating stuff for is going to be my wand. I am looking at possibly trying to do a 9-link wand. I am trying to figure out how to make all of this as cheap as possible. So that is part of the delay in doing these videos, because I do want to give you guys a budget route to improve a character like this. So I do want to go through a few other ways that I could craft stuff too. But right now the goal is to show you guys the cheapest way to get the really good gear that I'm looking at building. So if you are interested in following along with that, please make sure you like and subscribe to this video. Uh, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. All right, bye.